Blessings, welcome. So glad you're here. Let's take a few moments to arrive. Yeah, and this, so just noticing where you are and allowing your awareness to come into your body. And as we start to feel our breath across the front of our body, this naturally, just feeling the breath naturally brings your awareness into your body. You might take a look at the space that you're in and let yourself orient to the relative safety of your space. Allowing yourself the refuge of Sangha. Nothing else to do but receive what it is that you're here to receive. Sensing into your intention. And letting it go. Just remembering the first half of our time together today is a talk. And so I'll be talking and sharing the medicine of the Dharma through my particular way of sharing it with you. And then we'll be doing a guided practice together, and I'll lead you through that guided practice, working with what we were exploring inside the talk, which today is about taming the distraction of self-doubt. And so go ahead and put in the chat, what is your intention? So good to see you, Julie and Ruth. Folks on YouTube. Good, Julie, money. And then I want you to sense, Julie, what's the felt sense underneath the money? If you had enough money or you had more money or something like that, there's a feeling in your body of safety, security. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, good. So let's click into, security. That makes sense. Good, Ruth. The subject is very significant to you. You're very good at torturing yourself with it. Yeah. Yeah, and we can relate, right? So that's why there's it is one of the classical hindrances inside of the teachings of the Dharma that the Buddha outlined as being something that can distract us from the fullness of living. In his words, it was waking up. So all of these things, the hindrances are aspects of ourselves, these arisings that can keep us from waking up or keep us from wholeness, peace, contentment, satisfaction, aliveness, presence. So welcome, Bettina. Nice to have you here. I am going to grab my notes. And I love this poem from David White. He says, I want to write about faith, about the way the moon rises over cold snow night after night, faithful even as it fades from fullness, slowly becoming that last curving and impossible sliver of light before the final darkness. But I have no faith myself. I refuse it, even the smallest entry. Let this then, my small poem, like a new moon, slender and barely open, be the first prayer that opens me to faith. And so we can just sense that just coming here and showing up in this way is this is our practice of faith, as David White says, let this small poem, because sometimes we, rather than relating to doubt skillfully, we get caught up in either just kind of grabbing onto it and getting kind of caught in it, or we really believe it, we judge it. And so through this talk, we'll be illuminating doubt, because the more we understand something, the less caught we are in it. This is mindfulness. And so may this, talk and the meditation that follows help you have some freedom from this, this hindrance that we can talk about in there's really three different types of doubt. Now, I wasn't familiar with two of them, and I've taught about two of them, but through preparation for this talk, I uncovered another one. So let's talk about them. Now, the type of doubt, questioning doubt, is good. It's like we're not discouraging questioning the teachings at all. We're not discouraging investigation for yourself. Like that's a big piece of the teachings, is like, come see for yourself, which I love. So there's not this just take my word for it nonsense. And so questioning doubt, it's good to distinguish this from these other types of doubt that can really rob us of the peace that is our birthright. But questioning doubt inspires action, and it gives us this impulse to understand. When we have a questioning attitude, it encourages deeper investigation. It's a healthy doubt, and it can overcome complacency, and it can loosen up preconceived ideas. So inquiry falls into this, inquiry being this practice that I use a lot in my own work, in my teaching and with my clients, around asking a question like, is it true? And this kind of inquiry, especially around ideas that are causing pain, can be really helpful to loosen up some of the things we've taken to be true that are causing us a lot of pain. But what we get caught in that can, again, disconnect us from our birthright to be at ease and at peace is hindering doubt. Hindering doubt. Okay, so hindering doubt is a mental preoccupation involving indecision, uncertainty, and lack of confidence. It can prevent us from full commitment to our calling, our relationships, our health, and or our spiritual practice. It shows up as procrastination, blame, shiny object syndrome, giving up, and lack of consistency. It can be self-fulfilling. This is from Gil Fonsdale. The most insidious doubts are those about oneself, especially when they involve a lack of confidence in one's ability or worthiness. I like to, and in these pauses that we take, between my talking, just allowing yourself to sort of come back to your body and letting yourself, digest. So this is a type of doubt that Philip Moffat identifies that I hadn't known about until now. And I look forward to kind of understanding this one even more, but really wanted to share it here because I found the distinction really helpful. There's nihilistic and cynical doubt. And I just quoted him here. Another kind of doubt is nihilistic or nihilistic, and it's close relative cynical doubt. You probably know someone who is caught in these types of doubt. They're negative, suspicious, convinced that everyone and everything is inherently flawed or exploitive. This is not genuine doubt. It is a belief system disguised as doubt. It is dogma. It is much easier to recognize in another than in yourself. If you continue with your inner work, you inevitably encounter spiritual doubt. At some point, you will be called upon to recognize that somewhere within you there exists the debilitating voices of nihilism and cynicism. They are there no matter how well they are hidden by your optimism and trusting nature. Even now, they affect your thoughts in small and large ways. But as you open to deeper possibilities for yourself, they will become more active. Only by bringing into consciousness the part of you that disbelieves do you free yourself from doubt's unconscious power over you. You can explore the truth of this for yourself. Simply allow your voices of cynical and nihilistic doubt to sit on the cushion with you and get to know them. Treat the hurt and fear you find fueling these voices with compassion and loving kindness, but use your skeptical doubt as a tool to question the validity of nihilism or cynicism. And so I think there's a good, when we notice, and I can so relate to this one. And as I talk about this, you might be like, oh my gosh, like I can really relate to this one too. Inquiry is such a wholesome practice for this. We might notice that we have some doubt about humanity, like, I can't trust anybody, right? I don't know who could say they haven't had that, right? All of us have been relationally wounded. And so, trusting ourselves and trusting others is like a work in progress. right? And so this belief, like, I can't trust anyone, is a part of this type of doubt, nihilistic or cynical doubt. And it's not about like disproving that, it's about recognizing it's present. And we can use inquiry like, is it true? Right? That's a question we can ask, that you can't trust anybody like all the time. Like, what do we can start to look at it a little bit more, get a little more curious about it. Which, so I just wanted to give an example of like how those two can work together. When it comes from unhooking from doubt, because it does really rob us of the confidence that we need to persist in our practice, because it makes us wishy-washy. So it's really hard for us to commit to anything. And that it's like this inability to commit to anything because you have a hard time making decisions, or you're never really sure you made the right one. So you're kind of like, you're not really quite sure you have enough. So you're like always looking over there to see if like they have more. Like, these are all the ways that doubt can rob us of just resting inside of our good enough lives. Which is no small thing when we think about it. Like, what would it feel like if I could just rest more inside of my good enough life? Wow. If we can like kind of sense that that would be lovely, then like we're on the right track. It's not about doubt going anywhere. It's about becoming more aware of doubt so that we can know what kind of medicine or antidote to use. Sometimes inquiry is really helpful. Sometimes, and I'll talk more about embodied ways of unhooking from doubt, are helpful. And I think we need both. So we want to develop a curiosity about doubt. This really does also point to resting more in not knowing mind. So, and I'll just like, there is this not knowing mind. We always want to know, we're always looking to know. And what would it be like to kind of let go of that a little bit and sense like, not knowing mind, I can rest in that. This is from Gil Fonsdale. It's difficult to recognize doubt when caught in it. That's why in like the workout, when you work with a teacher, the work I'll do with my students, it's a lot easier for like, say, at me to see it or recognize, oh, that sounds like doubt, or, oh, that looks like doubt, or I'm wondering if this is how doubt is arising for you. Then, because it's so close to us, it feels so much like truth. And so, Sangha, others, can help us with this, recognizing it, because it can be so hard to see. It's difficult to recognize doubt when caught in it. The challenge is to have enough distance or objectivity to see it for what it is. Doubt may be easier to identify by noticing our indecisiveness or holding back, sensing any accompanying physical tension or pressure may help pull us out of the orbit of the doubting thoughts. Clearly noting doubt as doubt can be helpful. With enough distance, we may be able to stop believing the thoughts. It can be freeing to doubt the doubts. And then there can be this practice of just taking focus off the doubt, especially when it's like quicksand, it's like a lot. This is more from Gil Fonsdale. Confidence in one's ability to practice is very important. For people plagued by doubt in their own ability, it can be useful to develop self-confidence. Now, notice he says develop self-confidence. It's not something that you have, it's something that we develop and cultivate and practice. Just by mentioning we can have confidence in our practice, right, is this. Because we forget to have confidence. Many people overlook what they are capable of and focus instead on what they think they can't do. Taking time to consider and feel happy about one can do, even the smallest things, can strengthen confidence. Approaching one's practice in small increments may slowly develop confidence. For instance, resolving to be aware of each breath throughout a meditation session is unlikely to build confidence, whereas resolving to stay with 2 breaths at a time may be more effective. Once one has confidence in 2 breaths, one can move on to 3 breaths. Surprisingly, spending less time thinking about oneself can help with confidence. Spending less time thinking about oneself can help with confidence. This is because self-preoccupation tends to undermine healthy self-regard. That's why I mentioned embodiment is like, we cannot leave the body out of this. This is not a mental activity, though doubt is. The practice of unhooking from it is not. So far as like we actually need to recognize doubt and unhook from it, unhooking from it relies on the wisdom of the body. This, I have a lot of pieces here that I've borrowed for today's talks. I just found so many things that were so good, and I just wanted to share it directly with you. So this is from Philip Moffitt. Doubt presents many faces, some of which are quite subtle. You may experience it as non-specific anxiety, as if there is something you have forgotten to do or have done incorrectly. Doubt may be felt yet unrecognized as exaggerated or ever-present distress over a decision you have to make, or a vague sense that you have failed or that life isn't as you thought it would be. These subtle symptoms reflect the dilemma of modern life, the absence of feeling grounded in something greater than your own ego structure. It is for this reason that doubt is both an existential challenge and a spiritual hindrance. The Buddha taught that doubt is one of 5 hindrances that arise in the mind, clouding your judgment, limiting your ability to act, and causing great emotional disquiet. The first is sensual. So this is a brief, I included this too, because it was just a brief overview of the other hindrances. Sensual desire, sloth and torpor, restlessness, and doubt, aversion. Yeah, so those are the other hindrances, but today we're focusing on doubt. Just take a breath together. Let yourself really come back into your body. We talked a little bit about inquiry as being an antidote to doubt or medicine to doubt, awareness, right? Knowing when doubt is present is so much of it, so much of it. And this is really the place where it can be helpful. I'm just summarizing here a little bit of what we've just talked about. Having a spiritual friend or a teacher or a therapist or something like that I remember one of my teachers helping me see my own doubt and how it operated. And that was so helpful for me because I had never seen it before. I was too close to it. And then once we're identifying doubt and as it's operating in us, and it could be that doubt is operating with other things, right? So I think doubt and restlessness often come together for me, which is another hindrance. So resting in your body, sensing your body, and cultivating a relationship with your body through movement, through, like being in your body more, like right now, sensing into your spine and your lower abdomen. We're just going to together right now just take a few breaths into our lower belly, softening there. Just taking some deep breaths there. And allowing the awareness to stay settled there even when you breathe out. Sensing that as you inhale, the lower abdomen can spill forward. But as you exhale, it kind of stays that way. So the hara stays relaxed as you breathe. This is what I mean when I say working with doubt isn't a mental activity. If we want to and sense that it's necessary in our practice to dial down its volume, that it's a hindrance that we wrestle with a lot, this practice is essential. Embodiment. It's almost like we cut through the doubt with a sword. And sometimes that's the right medicine. When we're in our bodies, we're automatically connected to this not knowing mind. The opposite of doubt is faith, or the antidote, I should say, to doubt is faith. And when we say faith here, we mean a willingness to suspend judgment and see for yourself what is true. It's this willingness to suspend judgment, a willingness to practice being in your body. We're going to practice now. I hope that there was something there that was helpful in terms of your own awareness around doubt. And I do appreciate your donations. You can Venmo me, PayPal me, Zelle me at Karina-Nickerson. So find a comfortable posture. And your comfortable posture today, is different than it was yesterday. So we really sort of sense a cozying up. A curiosity about what it's like to be in the body right now. Deep breath in, hold at the top. Sip in more. And let it go. And again, deep breath in. Sip in more. Hold. And release. Letting go. One more like that. Hold, sip in more. And let it go. Letting awareness tend to the feeling of the breath in the belly, in and out. We don't need to tend to anything else right now. Everything is right as it should be. Putting down our concerns, our doubts, our preoccupations for now, and just letting ourselves feel into a soft belly. What really helps this is to also feel the strength of the spine, to help the spine be long, even if we're lying down, or even if we're resting against something. You can sense this awareness of the spine, the embodiment of it, as being supportive to the soft belly. Relaxing as we start to sense maybe more of the body and more of the sensations that are here. Sometimes it can be nice if there's a way that you want to sort of stretch a little bit, let the body move a little bit, and then come back to stillness. Feeling the body breathe, nothing else. Not knowing mind When we rest in the belly, we're resting in not knowing mind. You may start to sense subtler places in the body that are gripping. You can just soften, relax, staying with the belly, letting this belly breath be something to come home to. Safe to rest. Sometimes doubt is just this subtle sense that we're not doing the practice right. The subtle sense that we're not doing the practice right. Subtle sense that it's just not quite right. And it's good to just see that and sense what it would be like to just allow it. Let it rest with your belly breaths. nowhere to go, and nothing to figure out. Staying, coming back to softening into the belly, the feeling of the belly, the body of ease. Sounds come and go, sensations come and go, thoughts come and go. We don't drift off with any of it. Or when we do, we just come back to this body of ease, the feeling of the spine and the softness of the belly. We start to notice a little bit more the tight places in the body, or just, the subtler aspects that we don't normally make contact with. And so to anything that's challenging, we touch it with care, with kindness, with friendliness. We bring a hand to our chest, palm down, just to even patting the chest can feel nice. Just a way to remember friendliness. Maybe friendliness has some words of encouragement, like right where you need to be. It's okay to feel this way, or there's nothing wrong with you. Whatever you're noticing can be kind of touched by this kindness, this care. We're just resting in our bodies, aware of the million things right and the million things wrong. Recognizing that there's never been a better time to rest. This is from Thomas Merton. My God, I have no idea where I am going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end, nor do I really know myself. And the fact that I think that I am following your will does not mean that I am actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does in fact please you. And I hope I have that desire in all that I am doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, she will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Therefore will I trust you always, though I may seem to be lost, and in the shadow of death I will not fear. For you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone. Thank you for your practice. If you want to just put in the chat anything that's kind of a takeaway from our time together today. Again, your donations really make a difference. I appreciate it. We are going to, starting next week, be moving our day and time for our weekly sits to Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. PT. So you get the first you're the first to hear it. Yeah, so starting in October, we will be sitting on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. PT. So hope to see you there. Yeah, would love to hear in the chat if there's anything you want to share as a takeaway. Feel free to share this with friends, who you think might be, might really appreciate this in their lives, this time for themselves. Yeah.
Thank you, Karina.
You're welcome, Ray.
So it's 5:30 on Wednesday, p.m.
PT.
I'm putting it in my calendar for October.
Good. Yeah. Just for those of us that aren't in PT, which is, sometimes it's like half of our group. It's Yeah, just that's an important part. 5:30 PT. All right, blessings to you. Oh, you're welcome. Tina, I'm glad you were here, and I hope you can come back next week. Yeah, you can find it anywhere. It's if you just Google Thomas Merton prayer. Yeah, Thomas Merton prayer. All right, blessings, be well. I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 5:30